Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, America's top foundational health coach, as they call me, because for 47 years, that's what I've been doing. Health, healing, and hope. With over 35,000 of my client patients, I will say I'm humbled and honored to say 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat lost during this time that I was in full practice. But as Dr. Bill Janeshak says, the one thing I don't do is retire well. I unretired to come back in the COVID era to say that we can actually reclaim and restart our lives. Now doing what we're doing with all of this, with Traverse TV, online, with, as Les Brown calls it, from brick and mortar to click and order. We're now bringing you the best of the best once again with Dr. Talk. I'm so honored and privileged to have three of my great colleagues with me today as we explore Dr. Talk. Come play in our health sandbox. What are we playing with? Today, we're playing with embracing stress. Stress is the number one killer. Stress is here. Well, I'm so stressed. Well, join the club. We're all stressed. But what you do with it and how you embrace it in all six pillars of health: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial, and social. We all have it in the holidays, whether you go ahead and you're a part of the holiday cheer or whether you choose not to participate in the holidays. It's here every single day. And it's certainly been more lately, I believe, is our downturn economy with this political unrest, what we've done with election, which it seems like we're never over an election, what this does to our psyche, what it does to our emotional well-being, what it does to us, just how we interact and relate socially, but certainly physically. And for myself, it is just such a privilege and honor. And it just feels like I'm back in the saddle again. As many of you know, I took a hiatus as I was caring for my husband, who was making a great comeback. But Providence had it differently, and my husband passed September 29th. But his spirit is inside of me to give for you what you can do. If you're going through the holidays, having a situation of emotional unrest and distress because you're missing a loved one, well, this show is for you as well. And I certainly hope that you'll dial into me and with me tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to do 1 full hour of my expression, not only honoring my big bear, but then to go into myself to give you the 6 pillars of what I've learned, as it says, experience, when you can say hope and healing. And how is there hope in everything you do? Is that, you know, as Les Brown says, what you're going through, you'll get through. So I'm going to bring my 3 esteemed colleagues up after this short commercial break, but I want to honor one of our stalwarts, our author in Healthopedia, in the mental pillar. Then Renee Brown came up and did this amazing story about her experience in foster care in the social pillar in our Essence of a Woman book. And so frankly, I just want to honor her as her being one of our sponsors with Medical Mindshare, one of her parent companies, with her husband. What a pair that is in the social pillar. If you can have a beautiful husband, beautiful children, and be a business partner, we need to learn from Renee Brown how she does her de-stress with that stress, is embracing it as well. So take a look, take a listen to one of our sponsors, Renee Brown and Michael Brown of Medical Mindshare.
From the well-known brands of Next Level Recovery and Sober Living Properties, Michael and Renee Brown present Medical Mindshare, Medical Mindshare has been designed to deliver integrative care and precision medicine throughout the community. Discover a more personalized path to wellness. Some people might ask, why is integrative care up and coming medically? Our answer is that integrative care can be tailored to your specific needs and goals. Integrative care considers mindfulness as a modality and many other alternative therapies amongst traditional medicine. Another feature of Medical Mindshare is enhanced recovery and rapid healing. It's always at the forefront of our minds so that you can experience accelerated healing and a reduction of symptoms. Contact us today to schedule a consultation.
Medical Mindshare, Renee and Michael Brown, extraordinary what they've done with next level recovery housing, and now Medical Mindshare, really integrating the best East meets West. And now you will meet none other than, what can I say? Since we've been together the last time, Dr. Mike has written two, not one, but two books. My goodness gracious. Dr. Mike Van Thielen, my buddy here in frigid Florida, and Renee Brown, Next Level Recovery. You've got the nice lead in with that. And well, I call it, this is Conference Room C, the car. And is this Conference Room A? It's always an airport for you, Dr. Glen, Depke. Nice background. I like that. Are you in Bali or something? Nice.
No, I'm actually in my yard. I'm outside. So.
Okay, conference room. Why the yard with the puppy? I love it. So I want to give a little bit of an introduction. I mean, while we were away, and yes, here we were with our amazing book, The Essence of a Woman, launched in October. This is what it means to have, I guess maybe, Dr. Glen, did you have something to do? Because it says forward by Dr. Glen Depke here. Bestseller. We sold out of our books on Amazon in inventory in 3 hours. So we hit internationally Amazon across the board. We were international bestsellers with Kobo, Barnes and Noble as well. Not within 7 days, within 5 days, there we were. And then presently, I see that I'm good with a lot of things, but not typos. But Wall Street Journal, which was bought out by C-Suite, Wall Street Journal bestseller. And I guess it's a new word, presently. Okay, we're still with The Essence of a Woman, number 75,899, under 100,000. And there are billions and billions of books, okay, that are sold on Kindle. So I just wanted to give our great team quite the shout out with this, but this is where I'm going to shout out with certainly. I hope this works. Let's see, remove. I'm going to go ahead and have it go forward, I guess. Let's see whether I can do that. I might have to put this at the end. I'm going to give you a shout out with your two books, Mike. I don't know how somebody writes like 2 books since we were together 4 months ago, but hey, you did it, and I'm going to get that screen share up. So without any further ado, as we're talking about embracing stress, many things that Dr. Mike Van Thielen is an expert on, and this is certainly one of them, is how to biohack and make your life better because you have less EMF and stress. Mike, take it away with your expertise. The next 10 minutes is yours.
All right, Jody, thanks for the introduction. And yes, stress, we all know, causes physical, emotional, mental symptoms, etc. But before I get started and share like 3 strategies with you that you can take home and start working on, is that stress is not always negative, right? Because we need stress, for example, for optimal or peak performance, athletic performance, there needs to be stress. Even in our body on a cellular level, there needs to be stress. For example, free radicals, we always want to neutralize them, but free radicals also have essential functions. For example, attacking pathogens and viruses, and also cellular signaling, and the list goes on. So stress, is positive and negative. Without stress, we wouldn't live either. We got our flight and fight system, our sympathetic system, which is a stressful system, versus our parasympathetic system. So we need to look at this yin and yang, at this, stress as good and bad. But unfortunately, as you pointed out, Jody, the majority of us obviously are in a stress overload, right? You mentioned the holidays. There's financial stress. There's physical stress, emotional stress, mental stress, social stress, and the list goes on and on. So the question is, we gotta manage that overload, and we gotta be able to embrace and manage the stress. And it's about recognizing these situations and having different options available to manage that stress. So I basically want to kind of point out 3 of these things that we can do out of the many, of course. But we know most people's life is a chaos. And when we live day to day and we really don't know what the next day is going to bring, then obviously we have feelings of uncertainty and worry and fear and stress, daily stresses. And mostly it's because we're not organized and we don't know what the next day brings. And those negative emotions then often turn into what Dr. Brown knows in mental illnesses, right? Like anxiety and PTSD. The S in PTSD is what? Stress, right? So how do we manage that? Well, I think from a perspective is we really need to regain control of our life and our agenda. And so when I talk about it or help people with it, I talk about purpose and plan, right? Because if we don't have a purpose in life, if we don't have a fire in our stomach and we're going to work 8 to 5 and we really don't like our work, then we're really going to have many stressful situations that we really will be hard to overcome. But when we have a purpose, when we find something to get up for in the morning and we have fire in that belly and we have passion, then those obstacles that I just was talking about, they suddenly become stepping stones and opportunities to get you closer to your goals and your dreams. So that's why I think that purpose, or helping people finding or identify their purpose, is critical and crucial, because then we basically, wake up being happy and finding fulfillment on a daily basis, which automatically reduces lots of stresses. When we have our purpose, we also need to have a plan. We need to know, where we're going and how we're going to get there. If we have a plan to, in 5 years become A, B, or C, then we got to break that plan down year per year, month per month, week per week, and identify which small incremental step that we can take tomorrow that we can attain, but that also gives us fulfillment. And we have that purpose and that plan, again, then we gain control of our life, because we know what tomorrow brings. We know what we got to do tomorrow. And so when we have more control, and when we create clarity, that stress, those worries, those fears, those uncertainties, suddenly they fall away without psychotherapy, without smart drugs and nootropics, right? So it's regaining that control over your life, over your agenda. The more control, the more clarity, the less stress. So that's number one. So people that live in chaos, they really got to add structure to their life to get that stress, those negative emotions under control. That's number one. Number two, there's this, and Jody remembers it from our first works and seminars together, but I was always talking about or asking people the difference between us humans and animals in the wild. And the answer is, the difference is our awareness. We have an awareness. In other words, we have the freedom to choose our response to any given stimulus or situation. And unfortunately, we have become slaves of making the wrong decision over and over again, which has put us in ill health, or also ill mental health, right? But animals, they don't have that choice. They don't have an awareness. They have an instinct, and they always act according to the laws of Mother Nature in their best interest and in the best interest of their species. And that's why they are in optimal health, right? Have you ever seen a lion, a giraffe, an antelope, a bald eagle with COPD, Alzheimer, COVID, AFib, and you name it? No, you're not, because they live according to the laws of Mother Nature. But we have this power of freedom of choosing our own response, and it has come with a price, but it doesn't really matter, because we have that same power right today to turn that all around and choose health, freedom, and choose to embrace our stresses. And so one of those things that people need to realize, and it's called the SOD framework that I'm going to share with you guys. S means stress, O means options, and D decision. That means is when you suddenly are confronted with something, you do not immediately, as a human being, react or make a decision. You have options and you can postpone the decision making. A very simple example. Let's say you're a business owner, you're working hard, business is not always going great, and your mom and your daughter ask if they can talk to you, and they ask, so-and-so, the daughter needs a new car because the old car has a few years and a few miles on it. And so that situation comes to you, and it's really not a good time because business is not doing too well, etc., etc. So it puts stress on you to answer that question. Well, you don't have to answer that question. You don't have to make a decision right now. The first thing you're going to tell them to do is like, oh, that's great. Let me evaluate the situation. Let me go over some options and get back to you guys. Next week, tomorrow, it doesn't matter. So what are we going to do? We're going to write down our options. What are our options? We're not going to get a car. She's going to drive that old car until it falls apart. That's an option. We're going to get a new car. That's an option. We're going to get a used car that is cheaper. That's an option. I'm going to talk to my CPA, and I'm going to see if there's maybe a way to get that car, bought under the business as a tax write-off. Or maybe I can lease a car. What are the options? Write those options down. Talk to people like your CPA, what they think is the best option. And then maybe next week, make that decision based on, the information that you acquired. So it's the SOD framework. We don't have to be stressed by situations that come to us. We need to realize that we don't have to make a decision right away, and that we need to explore those options and then make an informed decision later. By utilizing that framework, a lot of those urgencies and fires that we, put on a daily basis that are very stressful, we can kind of put those aside and make decisions in a calculated way if we understand that concept. So that's number 2. And then number 3, and then I'm done, is an easy one. It's how do we manage instantly in the moment to calm ourselves down, to get out of a stressful situation, whether it's in traffic, whether it's in a meeting, or whatever it may be, because we know that most of us are operating into sympathetic drive in our sympathetic nervous system, right? We're stressed, the heart rate's up, everything's up. So how do we get very quickly from a sympathetic flight or fight state into a restful or parasympathetic state? Well, the best way for me is breath work. But let's get rid of that word work, because the breath that I'm going to share with you is not really work. It is proven, and you can do it yourself, implement it later today even, that if you exhale longer than you inhale, then you will shift from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic state. So let's do this. It's my last minute here, right? Let's do this together. So what I want to do 3 breaths. We're gonna breathe in through the nose, capturing the nitric oxide, and we're gonna do that for 3 counts. So we're gonna inhale 3 counts through the nose, and then we're gonna exhale 5 counts through the mouth. So it's gonna go like this: 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through the mouth. We're going to do that 3 times. And that's how you can do more of those repetitions, go from a stressful sympathetic state into a parasympathetic restful state. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. And in through the nose, 2, 3, and out through the mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in through the nose, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Very simple, 20 seconds, and you go from a very agitated, stressful state into a parasympathetic mode. So that's my contribution to the stress.
Always contribution to the stress. Amazing. Because Mike, I was just thinking as we were doing this, Faith Hill sang a song. Country and Western music always talks about just breathe, and how true that is. Thank you. And I mean, purpose, plan. I love the chaos, control, and clarity, and you do bring it so well. So I just want to, now that I know that, I've just got to go ahead and put this on. I thought I had it. Hold on a minute, because I really want to give you props on these books. This is just amazing what you do. So I know, like I said, I'm not exactly I'm not exactly IT when it comes to this. And when I had it here and then it disappeared. Well, we're gonna go ahead and say you've got 2
I
books.
have to look.
Okay, put it up here.
There we
Tell
go.
us about your 2 books, EMF and the Hydrogen Alchemy. Tell us about these, please.
Well, molecular hydrogen is one of those things that is very popular in the longevity and biohacking world, but I needed to do some research and put everything together in one place. And it's amazing on how molecular hydrogen not only overcomes many difficult diseases like cancer and neurodegenerative diseases, and is a very important adjunct therapy, but it also helps with longevity, athletic performance, and the list goes on without any side effects. It's 100% safe. So the reason I wrote this book, and I will be talking about this at the A4M in Las Vegas on December the 15th. So I'm talking about this as a faculty, sharing it with thousands of physicians that are there, because I think it would be a great adjunct in any practice to help our patients. And then I was, Tasso, right? My personal trainer. He was looking at PMF devices and asked me for his opinion. And guess what? I really didn't know what to tell him. So I said, okay, here's my next book. I need to dive deep into it, because I always found that walk around those exhibits and those conferences that many of those things were like looking too much like of a gadget. And yes, after doing all the research, 90% of these devices do not work. And so this book goes over the facts about PEMF and what things that we need to ask and look for in order to purchase a device that actually will help our patients.
And yes, it actually does. And I can say this is my personal testimony with what molecular hydrogen and PEMF did for my husband post ischemic stroke. His brain was back, as they would say in Espanol, 100%. So that should be. And speaking of 100%, in conference room C, there Renee is going from one thing to the next. Boy, embracing stress on the mental health way. The next, I would say, however many minutes, if you've got 10, if you've got 8, whatever minutes you have, it's really great. The floor is yours, Renee.
Oh, thanks, Jody. And I just really appreciated hearing from you once again, Dr. Mike, just really good stuff. So my industry is mental health, and I really want to come at this season talking about emotions. And I just recently read some really good things from Lisa Barrett Feldman on how emotions are made. So today, I just want to begin by just saying that ahead of time, this is a season when we can be just open to receiving the love around us and the joy, however it presents. And we can easily do that when we're in a centered state. So I'm just going to put just a few twists on the concept of stress, of which Dr. Mike just did an incredible job with. And what I want to do is kind of go back to the theme that it isn't all bad. It can be really good. So usually when we're thinking about cortisol, we're not thinking about anything good from that hormone that's released when we're stressed. But in actuality, it's our gas pedal. It's what allows us to run faster, to really get out of danger, to move quick. Our body just shifts neurobiologically, and we're given all of the energy to allow us to survive a multiplicity of situations. So what's the underbelly of the cortisol? Well, the underbelly is that unlike our animal friends that are absolutely unaffected, like a deer running from a cougar, will not suffer trauma or stress afterwards, they autonomically, they shut it down without consciousness. But we're conscious beings. So we leak until we shut it off. So we need to consciously move right into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is just simply stepping on the brake. We stepped on the gas pedal. Now we can just push on the brake, and immediately a great way is definitely it's breathing, it's shaking, it's moving, it's shouting, it's meditating, it's yoga, any of those things, and we can stop ourselves from leaking. But this is what's key to realize, and that is, unlike the animals, we're going to continuously leak until we turn the gas pedal off. And it's something that we have to be very conscious of. And I really like the acronym stress options decision, because I think if we attenuate what this looks like into the very present of the stress, we can say to ourselves, what are our options right now? How am I going to stop myself from leaking so I can enjoy the present? And from the book that Lisa Barrett Feldman wrote, How Emotions Are Made, what I like is she really talks about stress more on a spectrum versus, the American way is we think about stress like the straw that broke the camel's back. What we think of collapse. How are we going to prevent ourselves from that? But we don't have to think of it that way. We can consider everything like a battery. And just like if we're going to participate in a marathon or a race, the most important thing is that mentally we're pumping ourselves up, because the body and the mind are one. So the top athletes they have a vision. They're thinking of their mental state, and physically they're able to deliver. Well, if we're thinking about our mental state and openness and availability this holiday season, what we can do is we can think about our physical state and leverage that state to be able to feel warmth and openness and centeredness. So the opposite of this concept is like if you feel hangry, you're feeling hangry because you've got a battery that's drawn down, and it's leveraging your mental health. And this is what most people don't realize, is that that's happening subconsciously. We don't even realize how we're moving sideways behaviorally. So what do we do to keep our battery full? That's where I want to get to. And what it is that we're making sure that we're hydrated, that we're getting enough sleep and nutrition. And one thing that is very, very helpful is if you are able to realize, what supplements might help me out. What am I low in? If you know that ahead of time, make sure that you have everything that your body needs. Social activities, ballroom dancing, going out, that energizes us. Maybe having enough time alone. That's another way to just energize your battery. Exercise, mindfulness, and spirituality. So life is better when our batteries are full, and we don't have to think about stress like what is going to make the camel's back break. There's a lot that we can do so that our experience emotionally can be smoother. So that's about all I have today. And I'm real appreciative to chime in on the subject of stress and health and happiness for the holiday season.
And if there's anybody that should know how to do that, because I'm sure this is your busiest time of year and people come unglued, you certainly are the Velcro and the Elmer's glue with what you do at a Next Level Recovery. And what you and Michael do is more than a business. It's more than a nonprofit. It's a ministry. So going into that, I think it's very apropos that we should take a look and take a listen to our next sponsor. Also, a Healthopedia Women's Essence author, extraordinary empowerment coach, Karen Rudolph of Tranquil Solutions. Boy, we need that.
Working with Karen for me has been invigorating. It has brought new joy and confidence in my abilities and confidence in sharing that with other people.
Karen Rudolph helps people break free from negative thought patterns and self-talk that keep them stuck. By becoming more aware of how we communicate with ourselves and others, we can let go of what holds us back. Much of this negativity stems from past experiences. When we heal those wounds, we can transform our thoughts, feelings, and even our physical health. Our bodies constantly send us signals, and by tuning into them, we can enhance our well-being. It's all about learning to talk to yourself in a kinder way, allowing you to show up more confidently in the world.
It's all about being free, being fearless within our authentic selves. And that's exactly who and what I do for my clients. So if you are interested in having a little bit of that, reach out.
Boy, tranquility is key. And Karen really does. She lives it with her spirit horses and what have you. And what I want to do is just share, and then we're going to let these dynamic men, Renee, be our 2 slices of bread in the vegetarian tofu and veggie sandwich, which I'm so grateful for. And what I just want to share a couple of things, and then you will hear the preview now, and come into something that when I said embrace that, and why is it embrace stress? Because I'll tell you right now, I've had more stress in my life the last 4 months than I've had probably for the last 40 years. But it's what you do with it, what's in your toolbox that makes all the difference. And I don't know why, but it's just habit. All right, I'm going to start with this. The day after Bob passed, I had in the hotel room, I had some of my pH strips. Well, Dr. Mike is going to appreciate this. I know the molecular hydrogen machine with distilled water. Well, you don't want your body like distilled water. My pH was exactly 5. And I'm going, oops, that's what that kind of visceral stress can do. But it's what, as I said earlier, it's what Les Brown says, what you're going through, you'll get through. And in the 6 pillars, I just want to just put one thing to go ahead and say, pause. It's okay to feel, and it's okay to breathe and feel. And coming into the holidays, if you know somebody, you know a loved one, you think, this is the first, this is the first, this is the first. And I think, yes, it is the first, and then it'll be the second anniversary of something. It'll be the third and the fourth. And it's a choice. Life is a choice. It's like what you said, Mike, about sod. I was thinking about the stress. If you plant the right seeds of affirmation and mental clarity, and you know spiritually you're sound, and you go into your emotional well-being, that and I'm saying this for myself, or someone who has gone through a devastating piece of grief, just like my hashtag has been gratitude and grief, that emotional gratitude in there will bring the physical response back. So it's okay, as Renee said, to step back and take your gas up, your foot off the gas pedal and be in neutral in a while, as long as you don't go in reverse. And back to Mike, when he said sod, you're planting all those seeds, and what you've done and what you become in your life, that the planting of seeds makes really good sod for the lawn. Mike, you can use that one later, because it makes the groundwork of your life. It's all that grounding, all that we talk about here as holistic practitioners. What we do is we say the why, and then we go to the what. Why was this happening? Of course, losing my soulmate and my life mate was a big, hairy deal. All right. Family name is there, Hairy Bear. Okay. At least Bob was not Hairy Bear. He was Henwood Bear. But I'm telling you, the hairiness on the bear was big. Realize that, embrace it, and then say, okay, so what can I do about it in the now? Because that's all we have. In the now, spelled backwards, is 1. And so what did I do when I picked up the pH strips? As Renee alluded to in nutrition, I'm going to go back to my wheelhouse in nutrition. I went ahead and took an energy bite that Dr. Jim and I have created with acai berry, and it's all the bees. And all of a sudden, my clarity, my mental clarity was good. And wheatgrass, go to every single time. Recently, when we had the virtual tribute for Bob's life, well, what do you do in that kind of a stressful situation? Usually I say to my clients, take one energy bite in the morning and then follow it up with 3 wheatgrass. Guess what? I took 18. You cannot OD on wheatgrass. Guess what? I was clear, I was back, and I was alkaline, and I could move forward. So that's what I'm going to say. If you know that you are centered, kind of like my shirt here has the fluffy sleeves, then you can go and say the stress and the embracing it is out there. So when you come up and say, well, this is the first of, you recall the memory, but make sure in the social pillar, that's why it's spiritual. And then we go mental, emotional, physical, financial. Then you come down to the social pillar. Make sure that the people around you, there are a lot of people that will mean well when you're going through stress, but have the people around you that will be well and have you as your well-being first and foremost. It begins with your spiritual life. It goes certainly through your emotions in that, especially self-care, mentally and physically. But remember that social part so you can embrace stress so that you can be the best that you can be right here and right now, because that's what we have. And that's what I wanted to share today about emotional stress. And the traditional naturopath in the Glen Depke, complete with dog in his backyard, always has dynamic wisdom. And I've got to say it one more time. If whatever you want to do is buy our book, share it with a friend. We are donating right now this month. Our proceeds are going to help the ravaged. You think it's over with Hurricane Helene? No. Through feedachild.org. We are giving our proceeds from the book for the month of December. So these children have something to remember. They have food, clothing, and shelter up in Western North Carolina. And Glenn, you were a big part of that. Thank you so much. Oh, I can't hear you. Where are you? Your microphone isn't there. Try it again. There you are. Hold on just 1 minute. Glen Depke is going to move from conference room Y in the yard to conference.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Yeah, that's weird.
Here, let me move. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. As we say, what did
I'm having some connection issues. Can you
hear me now? Yeah, we can hear you now. Perfect.
So, okay. So I want to say there's 3 tips that I usually share. Mike, kudos to you. You took that first one. The deep breathing and the longer exhalation rather than inhalation is a game changer for almost everybody. The second tip I always give is really in how we perceive our stressors. You know, I can give a simple story with myself. I remember years ago when I was committing to going to a personal trainer, and I was doing this every Monday and every Wednesday, and I'd be at my office on Wednesday, and it'd be about time to go leave to go to the personal trainer. I'd be so stressed out because I'm like, yeah, I'm pushing the envelope. I want to make sure I'm there on time, and I'm just like, oh, I have to go do this. It's the have tos. You know, just change the phrase to I get to. I could say, oh, I had to get on this call today. No, I get to. If I'm going to go work out, I don't have to go work out. I get to work out. if I want to take my dogs for a walk, I don't have to, I get to. So if you start to listen to whenever you're using the have to, just change that to I get to and see how that changes the dynamic in your life and your stress levels. The third thing that I love to, my simple analogy for changing the dynamic, because, you know, the simple fact, you know, all four of us have said the same thing, like we can't get rid of stress. Stress does have some benefits. And, you know, when it cracks me up when people say, oh, well, you just have to eliminate your stress in your life. Well, good luck with that. Nobody can do that. Heck, even gravity in our body is stress to us, right? Yeah. So it's not about eliminating stress. I think one of the key things is really how do we perceive stressors, right? And the thing is that stress does come up. You know, we have situations that we just don't resonate with, we don't feel good about, and then we typically refer to that as stress and anxiety. Well, think of it this way. Let's say you're driving in your car, you have your favorite radio station on, and all of a sudden a song comes on that you absolutely cannot stand. It's like nails on a chalkboard to you. So if you're in your car and that song comes on in that way, what do? It's simple. You change the station, right? How simple is that? Yet what people do in their lives on a regular basis, and I think all of us have done this at one point, if not, some people do this on a consistent basis, is a song comes on that we don't like, and we leave the song on. And how ridiculous does that sound?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I had an example of this yesterday. I was doing some a home project yesterday, and something came up that was very frustrating and very aggravating for me. And I was like, well, I'm not going to just stay in this. I chose to stop what I was doing, grab my dogs, took them for a walk, got a little loving from my puppies, and then I went back to that incident and that situation. And you know what? When I went back with a different energy myself, bam, it just took care of itself. Like, and people just don't make that switch. Yeah, those are, so to me, some of those, the three big things that I'm always recommending, again, the deep breathing, changing the have to's to I get to, and change the station when you feel like you got a terrible song on there. And then in kind of retrospect with the holidays, there are some things that I think are just great little tips with the holidays, because let's be real, most people at this time of the year, we're overcommitting, we're eating a lot of bad food, we're drinking too much alcohol. So here's some simple things you can add into your routine as you're going through your holiday parties and such. Number one, never go to a holiday party hungry. You know, start at home and have some really good quality food that you know that will sustain your energy and make you feel good. When you get to the party, make a commitment to, when you take a plate, you know, because think about this, we go to these parties and there's usually just tables full of food, and we end up like grazing all night on this food. Is make a commitment to, when you're going to go to the table and pick up your appetizers, make one plate and then be done. And then with drinking alcohol, this is just a real thing in the holidays. People are going to have some wine, they're going to have some cocktails. Well, you know what? Start the night with a big glass of water. And between any glass of wine or any cocktail you have, make sure you have another 20-ounce glass of water. Yeah, because alcohol is very, besides for the effects that it has on our brain, It's very dehydrating. So staying hydrated throughout the night is actually a fantastic idea. And never drink on an empty stomach. Alcohol is absorbed right through the gut lining. It's almost like it has a straight shot into the cerebellum, which is going to have an effect on us. And everybody recognizes this. I think we've all had alcohol on an empty stomach to recognize the different effects of the alcohol with that. So never drink unless you've already filled your belly with food. Yeah, and take these simple tips and enjoy the holiday. And you're going to go through this and have a very loving and festive time without the stress. And remember, change your channel when you need to.
And change your channel. And I like it. This was very interesting, Glenn, because we could hear you completely, and then it was like your screen was like you were doing alcohol. It was a little on the slow side, so it was a very great visual on that, because it's really true. Change your channel, keep it up. There are just so many things. We're going to come back and do our roundup in just a moment. And Mike, I know that you've got a patient commitment, so we'll start with you. And where we're going to go here now is to Mansions and Manors with Gloria Kurz of Mansions and Manors, an exclusive real estate company that gives you the personal touch way beyond a Sotheby's.
Gloria Kurz is the principal broker and founder of Mansions and Manors. 30 years ago, she saw a need for a more intimate, personalized real estate experience, one that feels like working with a private bank. The office of Mansions and Manors in Jamestown, Rhode Island feels like home, just like the communities we serve. We understand the emotional and financial commitment involved in finding the perfect property, and we're here every step of the way. At Mansions and Manors, we don't just help you buy or sell a home, we build lifelong relationships. Let us help make your dream home a reality, one home at a time.
And Gloria Kurz does do that. So, and knowing that that's a financial pillar, having that financial stress. So, Mike, let's just start with you. What is the roundup of everything that you heard of? As I said, if we're like this and we're in like my shirt here, but then the stress is just the fluff on the outside. Okay, what is your last comment on and of your wisdom? And thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope that you can confirm the 2nd of January. Let's start with EMF, the IZOD method, and the alchemy of molecular hydrogen for the new year. It'll be wonderful to have you for a full hour. But in the meantime, Mike, what are your last thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience today? I think you're on mute. Let me just take you off mute there.
Yes,
There
I'm
we go.
No, I think all of us kind of, agree that, that stress has pros and cons, but we need to able to manage it, right? Or embrace it, as the name of this talk is. And so people need to learn the tools and the tips that we've been sharing today, because those tools and tips give them options, right? So we need to recognize the situation, then evaluate what the options are and make the right decision. And I think everybody, can quickly implement those. Even some of those that Glen and Renee shared today, we can implement them today and see how you respond and see how it changes things. And, Glen had some very practical ones that you can implement right now, right? So change the situation, et cetera, et cetera. So put them to the test. Just don't listen and don't implement, right? If you don't learn and don't do, you really didn't learn. So go ahead and implement these simple strategies and give us some feedback.
Learn and do and pick up your pH strip. See where you're really at. All right, Renee, your final thoughts for today. Renee, that rhymes. I love it.
Well, again, just keep your battery full in a good place. And I just love the idea of changing the channel, breathing. And then what was so fun is you and I were just talking about some girl time on the phone. So it can be just that simple. Great show today. Thanks, everybody.
It's that connectivity, because
Mm-hmm.
at the end, between the dashes, we need each other.
Yeah, we do.
All
We
right.
do.
And Glen, I will take you a screen frozen, a screen not frozen, words of wisdom, extraordinary. And I love your backyard. So what are your final thoughts here and your wisdom, Glen? Would love to hear. Oh, I think you're frozen again. Let's try it again. No, no audio. I don't know. Nope. Can't hear you. Try it again. Yeah. I guess so. We're gonna blow a kiss. So just remember,
he's saying that kissing is also a way to change the situation from a stressful one to a happy one.
Yeah, exactly. Kiss and hugs more than anything, as we say, virtual hugs for sure. So mark your calendars. Mark your calendars tonight. I'll be giving the full Monty about embracing stress on Life's Milkshake Moment at 6 p.m. Then certainly, because I know Mike always says yes to me since I was his first patient, and he got me to live. So I was 1-0, not 0-1, and with a very debilitating disease. And Glen, if you unfreeze and you can come back and we can hear your audio, you can just pop in. But we'll be on the 2nd of January. We've got some great shows lined up between there. Financial activist and just an amazing financial health advisor, Julie Murphy, the CEO of C-Suites, Trisha Ben, Dr. Needy Solomon, who is releasing her book in January 11th, 2025, Naked Health. And then we end our season in December with Dr. Jacqueline Mohair of Trinity Business School. But in the meantime, then Mike's going to kick it off on the 2nd of January. Oh, there you are. You are.
I think that the big thing is great tips from everybody.
So we have great tips and we know how to.
The big thing is great tips from everybody today.
Absolutely, and then come back with our doctor talk on the 23rd of January. We'll be live. That's our.
How about now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah. So
okay.
Have your 1 minute of fame. Let's go. Try it again. Oh, well, it is what it is. Sometimes it's different than those other ways. So just put on your calendar the 23rd of January when we'll come back with Doctor Talk. What is the topic? New you in the new year. Learn how to drive and thrive in 2025. So what I can say for this day and every single day, let's just make the most of what you can do, because there's only one you. I just honor and thank you, lady and gentlemen, for being in my life, for being in that corner of those people that are doing and being. Dr. Bill, we give you kudos and praise for doing the right thing at the right time, being the kind of healer that you are. As he said, we're not alternative health, we're just real health, because we're real people. So in this day and in every way, just make it a great healthopedia kind of day. Pick up your book, The Essence of a Woman, and feed a child. Do it for your friend, and the child will eat for 2 months and get the molecular hydrogen. It will be a game changer, and the PEMF, because you will be the best. Thanks to Dr. Mike and his prolific authoring. So what we're going to say, it's a great today and every day, a great healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.
Woman up.